Hey there, and welcome to this first look at this brand new release from Captainsim. It's the 767-300ER, just released today. So I thought I would do a bit of a walk around inside and out, and you guys can have a look at it. Now hopefully everyone knows where Captainsim is at, and they know what to expect from a Captainsim add-on. Basically, you're going to have an absolutely gorgeous looking aircraft that is an absolute dog to fly, has no dedicated systems, relies heavily on the default 747-800 for its systems. Most of the switches in the VC won't work. May have some dedicated sounds, I'm not quite sure, I didn't check the blue, but we'll find that out shortly. And yeah, you'll be lucky if it holds a heading, let alone even takes off half the time. But hey, I've bought it knowing all of those things, primarily because there's an awesome mod that's been put together over quite a long period of time for both the Captainsim 777 series and also the 767-400, which I'm really hopeful they'll be able to convert over for this because it actually makes it flyable. We'll start by just having a look around, and as to be expected, the external model is gorgeous. I had this in P3D. It was, I think, their most recent release in P3D, and it's exactly what you expect. Absolutely what you expect. Very high fidelity, very high level of detail. What this reminds me of, and no, it's not the 763 from P3D, even though it is its intention texture. It actually reminds me of the iFly. Oh, look at that, interesting LOD is working. It actually reminds me of the iFly 737 MAX 8, which I did purchase recently. Still walking through that damn bloody engine. In terms of, see, that's weird, isn't it? I get closer and the level of detail actually drops. I move away and shit comes back into sight. Don't know what that's about. Well, that's alright. Yeah, in terms of the level of detail, you know, they've gone to extreme details on the landing gear. You know, each individual bolt is modelled in. You know, really nice texturing on the tyres. Really good use of bump maps. You know, it's a nice animation, so it's quite windy on the ground here today. You can see that. The fan's rotating on its own. It's classic Pratt & Whitney, you know, that large centre of the small of the fan itself. Yeah, so these guys, while I know lots of people absolutely ridicule their business model in terms of releasing what so many people consider to be half-baked products. And I'm not going to comment on their business model. They're free to, like any developer, they're free to do whatever they want. The reality is people buy them. I buy them. I have all the 777s. I have the 764. But it's one of those things where you go into it with your eyes wide open. If you don't, then shame on you. You know, there's enough information out there now, and their marketing is such that they tell you it's based on 747 systems. They tell you what you're getting, so people can't really complain when they buy it and say, well, this is a piece of shit. Sorry, you actually knew what you were getting, and if you didn't, then it's not actually Captainsim's problem. Now, please don't get me wrong, I'm not defending them. I can be one of their harshest critics as well, but at the end of the day, they are providing a product, and I think, as I mentioned in relation to the Just Flight Sim traffic, at the end of the day, the power's with consumers. We can either support these developers and buy their products, or we can say no. Let's go up in the wheel well. Let's climb up here and have a look. Find your head. Oh, shit. Just zoom out a bit so we can actually get a good look. So obviously it's using a combination of a few components and textures, But hey, it's not typically an area that you'd spend a lot of time flying or looking in, so it does a good enough job. I am impressed with the level of grime. Clearly this 767 has clocked up quite a considerable number of hours, and so yeah, you know, the wear and tear on it, it looks like a well-used aircraft. There's nothing new here that the 763 in P3D offers. There might be a little bit more fidelity in the model. Obviously you're going to get, you know, PVR and the benefits of all of that, but fundamentally it's the same aircraft. But of course it just looks so much better in the Microsoft Flight Simulator. It's just ridiculously good looking. And I think that's one of the things with Captainsim, and I know a lot of people, it's like, oh, Captainsim, another bloody add-on. But man, they look good. Infuriatingly good. So we'll just get a little bit of elevation. We'll imagine we're a drone, so we can have a better look at the overall model. Just speed it up a little bit. There we go. Not going too fast. So there are multiple variants that come with it. So this is the 4-door. So obviously four main doors, two on either side, front and rear, and of course the two emergency hatches in the middle, and no winglets. And there's also the winglet variant, and there's the 6-door variant, which doesn't have the small emergency hatches, and we'll look at one of those shortly. And so here we have the winglet version. So everything else is, as you'd imagine, exactly the same, but we've just got winglets. And they look pretty good. Alright, let's move on to one of the 6-door models now, and take a look at that before we go inside. Okay, so here's the 4-door model. I don't have any liveries for this one, so it's just the standard Captainsim livery. But thought what I'd also do is get all the flaps fully deployed, spoilers, reversers, those types of things, so we can actually just have a look at the level of detail and quality in those as well. And, you know, like the rest, it's pretty bloody good. There's a pretty good level of detail in there. As I said, nothing particularly different to the P3D version, but just the fidelity of it is so much better. Probably just pop down in there. Yep. There we go. So it certainly looks good. Just the reversers, so the door's closed. So it's just textures, not modelled as such. There we go. So yeah, all looks pretty good. And I'm slowly grinding their way up. There we go. It's pretty nice. Pretty nice. One of the other things we'll take a quick look at as well is the lighting while we're out here. Ooh, hello. Jeez. Okay. beacon's pretty mellow, isn't it? Now let's just change the time of day and see what we end up looking like. Doesn't look like we're getting any light spoiled at all. Absolutely nothing. So that's no good. The nav lights are pretty ordinary, the strobes are pretty ordinary, so it looks like that's not quite fully baked in my view. That still needs a little bit of work, because you'd expect to get some light splash, and you'd expect to get the glow, you know, on the pavement. Is there some good glow there, or am I just imagining it? How about we just pull the baby back into the dark? Ah, there's a little bit of splash there. Yep, I was mistaken. So there we go. We've got a little bit of green and a little bit of strobe light splash. But I don't think we got any at all for the beacon. Oh, there's a little bit, tiny little bit. Yeah, I don't think that's realistic. Yeah, no. It needs some work. I can't remember what it was like on the others, to be honest, the 777. So, yeah, so look, overall, externally, really nice. Lighting pretty good. Some of the light splashes probably need a little bit of work. Animations look great. All of that sort of stuff you'd expect. This is effectively a P3D model that's been converted, updated, new textures, all those sorts of things. So we'll jump in the VC now. Here we are, and once again, it's a high fidelity model. But once again, you should know what you're getting, and you are effectively getting a 767 with 747-8 systems, and you can see that on the FMC where it's saying 747-8i. So I'm really not going to go into any of that stuff, simply because it's using base Microsoft Flight Simulator 747-800 systems, and that will apply to everything. But this is about looking at the quality of the model and so forth. So yes, you can open up the windows. It's good to see the little cabling there stretches. So that's a nifty little animation feature. Let's have another look at that. You know, I like that kind of stuff. It just adds a level of immersion to an add-on. The fact that it's a dog to fly and has base systems, it's those little touches that someone's actually thought about and taken the time to animate, and I like that. You know, everything's nice and clear. Oh, you can get rid of the cups. That's one thing it does. But none of this stuff does anything. You know, you can click till the cows come home and nothing's going to change. I really like this texturing. So it's old and grubby and bloody disgusting. You know, someone's had a cup right where they shouldn't have had. So someone's been coffee. You've got the, you know, the scratched away to show the actual metal underneath. Textures overall look pretty crisp and clear, and the lighting's pretty good. Now the lighting is a little bit finicky because I was really struggling to get just the cockpit lights working at all. And in the end I had to turn all the lights on and just turn off the external lights to keep them on. So I don't really know what the hell was going on with that. And for the life of me I can't find an instruction manual, which is also pretty much typical Captainsim. So yeah, you know, don't expect a hell of a lot to work up here. It's very basic stuff. If you really enjoy flying the 747-800, then you'll enjoy flying this. You just need to understand the limitations that you're operating within. But there are a few nifty little features on it. One of the other things I found, the armrests are animated. And you can pull them up and down. They don't just move on their own accord. I don't know about the other one. I'm assuming it will be. Yep. So that's pretty cool. And that one as well. So yeah, there we go. That's the 767-300 from Captainsim, released today. I think they're charging $29.99. Just quickly have a look while I'm chatting to you. Yeah, $29.99, reduced from $39.99. I'm not sure who would pay $40 for this, because $30 is probably quite a bit. They're also released two livery packs as well. So each pack has 5 liveries. They're currently going for $4.99, so these are US dollars, normally $9.99. So, alright, there you go. Hopefully that was a little bit of help and informative. Yeah, great external model, but the rest is classic Captainsim. So, yeah. Cool, thanks a lot, and we'll talk again. Ciao.